So, Steve, are we ever going to start this review up? Steve, why are all the lights off?
Arnes, you need to leave this review as fast as you can.
Steve, get this light out of my face.
I'm sorry. Trying to make some dramatic effect.
Oh, I'm blind. Is that dramatic enough for you?
Not yet.
You know what I need? You know what solves this issue? Some douchey glasses.
Listen up, Rangers. Welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve.
And my name is Arnes.
And we're bringing him back.
Again.
Because this film came out the same year. Because today we're going over Ghidorah, the three-headed monster.
Wait, what was that name again, Steve?
Ghidorah.
No. We
We
already talked about this.
I know we watched the English dubbed.
This is the English dub. This is the first movie, first time he appears. And how did they say it, Steve?
Ghidorah.
That's what his name is, Ghidorah.
Which I gotta admit, that's probably how I actually knew his name for the longest time. Until I'd say the Heisei era, after I got to see that King Ghidorah, like, oh, that was like in the 2000s? Somewhere around there?
Ghidorah.
Yeah, which we actually got to learn that his name is actually Ghidorah, not Ghidorah.
It's Ghidorah.
Like
From now on, he's known as Ghidorah.
The bad dubbing suggested.
No, that is the first time he appears in a movie, and that is what I'm calling him from now on, Ghidorah.
Yeah, so pretty much for the premise of this film, a meteor crashes to Earth. In the process of this, we also have a princess that is about to get assassinated, and instead of being assassinated, she gets saved by a Martian and becomes a Martian. And now it's prophesizing the return of Ghidorah.
Ghidorah.
Not King Ghidorah, but Ghidorah. Sorry,
Ghidorah.
Ghidorah.
Yeah, get it right. Give me this. You don't deserve this. Okay, stay over here.
I come to find out that Ghidorah was actually the meteorite that crash lands onto Earth. And eventually Mothra, Godzilla, and Rodan show up, and they have to somehow work together in order to save the day.
And this is the first movie where you actually get to hear Godzilla's true feeling about humans. He just hates them.
Yeah, they don't like him. So why does he need to help them?
Exactly. Which I thought was actually one of the good parts of the movies when the monsters were talking. I was like, no way.
Talking. Godzilla, what terrible language.
Which was like, that was kind of different. And I was like, okay, I'm down for this. This
is also pretty much the film where Godzilla starts leaning in towards being more of a good guy. I wouldn't say he's full-on good guy in this film because he's still kind of rampaging, but come to find out there's a greater power that they need to team up to defeat. But anyways,
Hey, Steve, you know what solves every issue?
We're not going there.
Power of friendship.
Not yet.
Power of friendship.
Friendship does solve everything.
Because the poor Mothra, or the lava Mothra, just takes a lot of shots. And the Godzilla was like, bite my tail, I'll drag you up.
Anyways, we'll get into that in a little bit. But for the plot, I actually really like the plot for this film, personally. Because it's actually a little bit more in-depth than some of the other Godzilla movies.
Oh, the things he makes me watch.
sorry.
The things he makes me watch is unbelievable. What I got out of Human Story in this movie is just pimps, hoes, and assassinations, okay? And gold diggers. Can't forget the gold diggers.
Yeah.
You met a new guy today? Yeah. Would you met him for his money or his car? Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you're gonna take me out the drinks you're buying? She's like, yeah, typical.
Yeah. And then there's a douche who wears sunglasses all
yeah,
the time, inside or out.
Again, how can you hate this movie? You use the typical villain where you're wearing this stupid, goofy, like, 1800s outfit, and yet is wearing sunglasses inside. All the time.
He gets crushed by rocks. Sunglasses are
still on, man.
He is the one.
His boss is what he is. Like, how can you hate this movie? You got assassinations, you got aliens, 4 monsters in this movie.
Okay, I'll give you that. It does have a lot of monsters in it.
4 of them. And an actual pretty cohesive plot for the most part. Because I get it's a little bit goofy, because especially with the Martian aspect. And I love how they explained the whole plane sequence where, like, how does she the only one surprised when plane exploded? Because she's aboard a plane when it explodes. And some guy's just like, oh yeah, well, the exploding plane caused a dimensional rift, and she just got lucky that she fell into it. Yeah, it's just like randomly stuff like, yeah, dimensions. Moving on.
What is he talking about? Just out of nowhere, just kicks into the scene where this scientist guy explains how she survived. I was like, what the hell is going on, Steve? Like, what is this? Like, why?
Why is this even a part of the movie? We understand she just jumped out of the plane randomly.
Can
She's
we call
okay
it a day?
now.
No.
As per the fisherman that finds her, just bobbing in the water like a cork.
You see my issues with this movie here so far?
But it's so good.
I will demonstrate a scene for you.
Hold on, let me peck your head for a
He was
second.
like, ow! Why? That's like my favorite scene, okay? That's what got me.
Yeah, but for the most part, like each of the characters of the movie at least they're like pretty individual. Like you have your gold digger chick, okay, you got your scientist, you got your heroic bodyguard, which wants to help the girl for no apparent reason. The boss is just like, yeah, it's fine, go, have fun.
But you gotta do it on your own time.
Your own time. But you don't also have to work at the same time either, so hey. Also, this is cool, because this is the point in the Godzilla series where I started noticing a lot of the reoccurring characters that you see in a lot of the Toho films. Like, one of the embezzlers from the last movie, the guy with the awesome mustache from Godzilla vs. Mothra, is the ship captain that ends up going and meeting Godzilla.
And he's still a douche in this movie.
He's such, get her off my ship.
Unacceptable.
And then we also have the native translator from King Kong vs. Godzilla, where he goes into the crater to go retrieve this guy's hat for only 200 yen. Seems pretty cheap. And ends up probably getting killed by Rodan in the process.
Yeah, because it doesn't show what happens. Does
it? Yeah, he still has his mannerisms too, where he's like, like, it's just like the guy has the best facial expressions. Like, I love it.
Certain things like that got my interest in the movie.
Yeah, but for the most part, for the majority of the plot, though, like, it works really well. Especially because it's starting where we're getting into more, like, alien realms for Godzilla movies.
Which I don't understand, but I'll go with it.
Yeah, it's going to show up a lot. For
lot?
the rest of the show is. Because we get it quite a few times, like, in the next film, which actually, I love the next film, spoiler alert.
Zero Monster, was it?
Yeah, Godzilla vs. Monster Zero.
I like the name, so it's funny.
Yeah, it's like, the name's sweet. Like, it's an awesome movie.
God, I hope it's not made in 1964 again.
I think it's 65. It's 1 year later. At least you still get the same suit, so hey!
Oh God, this poor suit has taken a beating.
It could be worse. Ghidorah shows up is for the entirety of the Showa series. It's that one suit.
Oh.
That poor thing. I'll tell you.
Plot was okay, at best. I mean, it did have a decent human story to it, but it took a while for like the actual monsters to appear. Well, what, like 40 minutes into a movie?
Yeah, kind of like Godzilla versus the Thing, where it just takes a little bit of a build-up to get to the actual monsters.
But then when it happens, it just happens so fast and everything just mashes up at once. It makes it kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, where you're like, eventually like the monsters start meeting with each other, and then they all start kind of fighting individually. It's really cool. And for the most part, it's a very different plot than what we got with a lot of the other movies, which I really like because it kind of makes it a little bit refreshing compared to the rest of the Godzilla series. Because it has the whole alien aspect, and that's where you start getting like princesses and more monsters and the weird communicating things.
So it's Zelda? Gotta see the princess.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much. Princess, alien princess.
It's dangerous to go alone. Steve.
Take this. I don't know. Alright, so next we're going to move on to the suits. Which, again, it's a lot of the same suits we've seen with previous Godzilla movies, so it's not a whole lot new here. Where you got the
same year
64 Godzilla, you have the Mothra suits, or the Mothra puppet from the last movie.
Wait a second, Steve. What happened to the other Mothra larva? Somebody comment and let me know, because I have no idea.
Because in the movie they state that the old one died, which I imagine they're talking about the adult from the last movie. They don't really state what happened to the other larva, though. Like, was it actually the older one because it popped out of the egg like 1 second sooner?
And what happened? Like, there's a lot of plot holes in this movie I don't understand.
Yeah, it was also like I forgot that Mothra is actually he in this film. Oh, yeah. Like I kept thinking it was a chick, but nope, it's a dude larva.
Yeah, so I mean, what happened? I'm confused.
Yeah, it's one of those like
Steve, you're the Godzilla expert. Explain this to me.
It's just one of those little plot holes that we get in the Godzilla universe. There's a few. It's okay.
So it's just
nothing's perfect.
You just pull out your pencils and you just erase that part. and it's fine.
I just like it. Maybe it just went off and did its own thing. Maybe it started its own island. So it could say...
You know what? You're right. You're right. I'm not going to question this.
Then we also get Rodan, which I think is a new suit. Off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure it's a new suit for this film. And the same with Ghidorah. Or Ghidorah.
Ghidorah.
Fine, Ghidorah.
Don't question the English dub.
Which, for the most part, I actually like the 64 suit in this film actually a little bit better. Because for some odd reason, he doesn't have... Yeah, it's the same suit. But it seems like you don't get like the floppy jowl syndromes for the most part from the far away shots.
They fixed it.
Yeah, it's just... I don't know if it's just the wear shows up a little bit more. Like, I think he just looks a little cooler. Granted, some of the close-up shots are a little...
Ooh. And that puppet scene... They just didn't do anything except just put like 10 gallons of Vaseline on his face and they just called
like for some odd reason, I don't know why, he just seemed really, really shiny in some of the scenes. Like super shiny. But for the most part, like it works pretty well. Like it's pretty much more or less what we got in the last film, so nothing too new. But I think it works a little bit better in this one than the previous one. Like a lot of the aesthetics and stuff didn't really bother me as much.
No, it was what I expected from the last one. It was the same thing.
Yeah, Moth the Larva looks good. Actually, I like a lot of the movements in this movie for that, because like especially when he starts getting shot by Ghidorah's beams and stuff, and he just starts flying all over the place.
That poor thing took a lot of shots,
and it still looks fine throughout the entirety of the movie.
You know who else took a lot of blows? It was Godzilla. He took one right in his ass, and he just jumped in the air, and he was like, "Ah!"
Shot in his junk.
Oh, that part too. I forgot.
Yeah, where he starts with the chest and goes down. He's like, "Yo, my preciouses."
And what's that flying thing? What's that name?
Rodan.
Yeah, Rodan. I watched and I counted the entire movie. He shows up, shows his scene at least 16 times, and he only flapped his wings in this entire movie 7 times. I've counted it. Go count it yourself if you don't believe me. 7 times.
Comment in the section below how wrong he is.
No, it was horrible. Every single scene at the beginning, it just shows him like he's going like a jet plane. And at a night scene when the Godzilla's walking through the water, you just see him going back up.
Yeah, he's just kind of fine.
Yeah.
He's making the jet sounds.
And then when the first 2 times he makes any sound, it's a Godzilla sound.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure that shows up the Japanese. Because this is another one, I haven't actually seen the actual Japanese video. I've only ever watched it really dubbed. And yeah, early on, it's just like when he shows up, he's like Godzilla, like, Shriok. It was like, wait a second.
I was like, huh?
Yeah, because at least in like Godzilla Raids Again, they kind of explain why Godzilla is making Anguirus sounds. But for the most part, I actually like the Rodan suit a lot in this film. He looks cool. Like overall, like a lot of the aesthetics look really nice on him.
I had an issue with the suit the entire time until where the Mothra larva spat in his face, and then the face expressions that he made was like,
it's just like Godzilla is like the normal like silk kind of look over top it, and for some odd reason when he did it the Rodan, it literally looks like it's like dripping off of his face, and he's just like,
when he was able to make those face expressions, I was like, okay, this suit is okay.
Yeah, like especially like the parts where like when Godzilla's getting sprayed, he's like chuckling and everything, and they're talking. Like, I think it's a nice looking suit, especially for the time.
I had an issue because like the entire time, like I said, he was just like gliding. He was never flapping his wings, and like the few times he did flap his wings, it looked so bad. I understood why he didn't flap his wings the whole time, and then that scene happened, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, and then there's like also where there's a part where he picks up Godzilla and starts like flapping away and stuff. And I don't know why, but when he lets go Godzilla, his legs look weird. And I don't know if that's just because like it's like holding up the prop or whatever, but it looks like kind of elongated. Oh, and it's only like briefly, but his legs look like it's like a giant L kind of shaped, and it's odd.
How would you explain? Can't even do that.
Yeah, it's kind of like it has like a giant hook underneath, so like Godzilla could just like hanging out under it while he's like flapping. It only shows up briefly, but it's there. Just go check it out. And then moving on to the Ghidorah suit, which is it's gorgeous. It is a gorgeous suit, especially with all like the diamond platings coming down it. It has like hair coming out of the sides of its head and everything. Looks sweet.
Except that one scene where it shows like his foot stepping. And like you can just see the rubber part because I don't know what happened. But like how he has those like, a little squares.
The diamond shape patterns.
Yeah, the diamond shaped patterns. There's a part where it's missing on his legs, and it's just
it's gonna happen. Like they're actually like coming into contact with each other. Like stuff's gonna happen. Like you see, like even on Godzilla, like on his knees and stuff, like where you have like the normal like wrinkles on his legs, it kind of becomes flat because it's worn down a little bit there from some of the abuse.
But if it's true what you said, this is the one suit they're gonna use throughout the whole time.
This is the best it's gonna look. Trust me.
If this is the first time they're using it, it's got that much battle damage on it. Oh man, I'm looking forward to the next ones. That is all I gotta say.
Yeah, it still looks pretty good for the most of it. It's mainly once we get to Gigan, we'll get to there when we get there. But I like how they did a lot of his aesthetics too for Ghidorah, where like his head is never usually stops. Like usually if it stops, it's for a very specific reason. Like there's a part where like Rodan goes to fly up and his heads usually go like this the entire time.
I just thought he was having seizures the whole time.
Maybe he's just like twitching all the time, mannerisms.
Maybe.
And like the beams will like be like spreading, or like he's just be like shooting everywhere. And then like you see like in some shots like where the head like comes in contact with the other ones when they're doing stuff. But overall, I think it's pretty cool. It kind of gives him his own little individuality between the rest of the monsters, especially with the aesthetics.
Because he's a special monster, Steve.
He's an awesome monster.
Fun of him because he's special. He can't help it. It was just probably the Earth atmosphere that making him twitch out like that. You don't know. He came from space. What do you know?
Yeah, he's not accustomed to what Earth has to offer.
Yeah, but yeah, probably that was the best thing about him. Is just always like.
Yeah, he's just always. He's such a cool looking monster compared to everybody else. Because like Godzilla's like giant dinosaur, Rodan, giant pterodactyl, Mothra, giant moth larva. Now this is where we get to the realm of like weird, cool space dragon. And who doesn't like dragons?
I have no issues with dragons.
Alright, there we go. If he can like it, everybody can like it. Next, we'll move on to the special effects and props. Which overall, this is, I gotta say, probably the best looking of the Godzilla movies so far. Because for the most part, all the props work really, really well. And one thing I also want to point out too is like a lot of the scenes like we were complaining about last time with the fairies, where sometimes the scenes look a little bit odd with them in it. Like it just didn't seem quite natural. Well, this actually, I think they did a lot better job of hiding that. Because for the most part, when the fairies show up, it's actually pretty believable.
Except the flying carpet part.
Yeah, the flying carpet was a little weird, but whatever.
we'll give him one overpass.
Yeah, we'll pass on that one. Because they're just kind of like flying. They're just like.
I was just waiting for the Aladdin song to start singing in the background.
Oh man, I saw you'd appreciate the singing. Because Arnes was like, wait, the fairies are here? And he's like, no.
Not again.
Yeah, I told you, every time a fairy shows up, there's gonna be singing. But for the most part, for this movie, you don't actually see a lot of the military's involvement in this.
Yeah, they cut that out a lot.
Yeah, because in the last ones, you kind of get like a little bit of like the tanks shooting at people, or like the military trying to do something to stop the monsters, like in the last one where they were dropping the nets and trying to electrocute Godzilla. Or in any of the previous ones where you have like the tanks come in and start shooting, Godzilla just kind of steamrolls over. Well, this one, you don't really get any of that.
They learned their lesson. After 4 movies, they learned their lesson.
Yeah, because they were all like talking, like the medias were like, oh, well, we're gonna devise a plan to do something, which we might do eventually, but no atomic bombs. And then somebody was like, why don't we just have the monsters fight them? And then they're like, yes!
Problem solved.
Ken Watanabe was in there and just like, let them fight.
I think he appears in all the movies just to make sure they fight.
Yeah, just, we need these monsters fighting.
Why aren't they fighting yet?
But, so that seems a little bit odd, but it's also, again, kind of refreshing for this film anyways. Because it's different than the other ones, because you don't have the military trying to fight Godzilla. Like, the monsters just kind of go do what the monsters are going to do. And then same with, like, the meteorite, too. Works really well for me. Because, like, how they had the meteorite kind of glowing in the distance. And it didn't look like it was kind of, like, off in its own little thing. Like, it seemed like it was actually there. And how they did the magnetism with, like, the, all the metal equipments around.
Except when they put string on all the...
yeah, where they're pulling along.
Yeah.
You don't really notice it, though, for the most part. Like, you kind of tell, but you don't really notice it.
It was only that one scene where it was really bad, where, like, right before he emerged.
Oh, where the magnetism was so strong that it's pulling just the normal rocks.
Yeah, that part.
But still, it's a cool scene. Like, it starts to show that something is going down. And then it crashes, and you see the smoke and everything. And then out of the fire that's coming down, it makes Ghidorah.
Does that mean he's fire? Why was he shooting lightning?
Good question. And then for like a lot of the beam effects too look pretty good on this. But one thing that's kind of odd is in the last movie, Godzilla's Atomic Breath actually looks cool. Like they actually added some like color and texture to it and stuff like that. Well, this one we're pretty much back to the fire extinguisher effect.
Yeah, they downgraded a lot on this one.
Which it's a little odd to see the transition from that because in the last like 2 movies, it looks pretty good overall. Like especially for the time. This one, it's like we kind of went back to 55 and it's just kind of looking for the most part. Well, Ghidorah's beam actually looks really nice. Like it looks like lightning shooting out of his mouth, and when it like would go across the ground, you see like the explosions and the aftermath of the path, which I thought was really cool. Especially like when they had like the Tokyo Tower, or at least the structure, when you saw the beam come down and you see like the explosions from that coming off. Looked really nice. Like overall, I really love the use of the props in this film.
Oh, my favorite part is when he shoots the larva, and I think just does like 4 flips in the air.
Yeah, just
because I think that's the
goes off in the
I
distance.
think that's the first time where like 2 beams actually met at the same spot at once.
Yeah, it looked painful.
Poor thing.
And then like the webbing looked cool too. Like when like towards the end of the movie where like they wrap Ghidorah in the webbing looks really awesome. And it's just the part where he's like, "Nope, I'm done. Fuck you guys."
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't like is when we get to that part is the ending.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't like how Mothra wanted to just be Hokage. Wants everybody to be a spread.
You guys want to help me? I'll do this myself. I got this.
I got this with the power of friendship. And Godzilla's like,
God, he's killing me.
And then Godzilla's like, friendship solves everything. And just comes, and then Rodan shows up. And then what's gonna work? Teamwork.
You know, one thing I did like was Godzilla was just suplexing Rodan.
Oh yeah, that was like that one scene where he just grabs him. And just, look at Brock Lesnar going to town. That part was sweet. Like there's some decent fight scenes in this one.
Yeah, it's definitely got me in a fight scene, but
yeah, especially like Mothra riding Godzilla or Rodan's back when like there's like starts spraying the silk and Rodan's like, "Get over here!" And Mothra's like, "Sweet, going for a ride." And then like, all right, so not to bash my homeboy Godzilla, why does he fight like a bitch in this movie for the most part?
Oh boy, let me tell you, he does not. He does. You know what? Yeah, I'm not.
Like for the most part, he's like sissy slapping. Like there's a scene where like him and Rodan are fighting. Godzilla's like, "Yo!" Starts smacking out of his face, and then there's like
the rocks. Scene.
Yeah, and then the rocks, where
we're back to the King Kong movie right now.
Where he's just picking up rocks and whipping them at everyone.
Not just whipping, he's kicking them. Every single thing he can do to throw rocks at you. He's throwing and kicking at the same time. Rocks are flying everywhere.
Yeah, that's like the one thing is like Godzilla didn't seem quite as imposing in this movie. Because again, just throwing a lot of rocks. But he does have a lot of cool scenes too where like again he's like suplexing Rodan and
or that scene where he comes out of water.
Yeah, that's the one part where I'm like, oh man, this suit hasn't aged. But for the most part, like a lot of those like effects and fights work really well. But also, why are people so bad at shooting people in this movie?
This guy has.
It's like I'm watching Star Wars.
This guy has a sniper rifle, hurt in his sight, and it's like,
yeah, this is like completely off. Like I felt like if you stand still, you were fine.
Yeah, if you try to run away, you'll get shot.
You might get hit by the random bullet that's gonna fly in the direction you're running. But if you're just standing still, perfectly fine. Like there's 6 dudes in a room. You think you could hit somebody?
Oh, and then that scene where my pimp guy just gets beat with a metal wrench on his head. He's like, oh yeah,
the sweetest guy in this movie with the white tuxedo, like the polka dot like tie and everything. That guy was awesome.
It was pimp. Still though, like when that guy gets hit over the head with a wrench, he just walks away like it was nothing.
Yeah, you think he would have got like knocked out, concussed, something? He's like, oh. And he just like walks back in like, guys, he hit me.
That guy was like, get over here. And it just drags him.
Yeah, like again, like all this shooting, bullets flying everywhere, everybody's fine except the guy that got hit with the wrench. Most effective weapon in this movie.
And then the only time anybody gets shot is the good guy gets shot twice. One to knock his gun out of the hand. The second time he gets shot in the shoulder. That's it.
Yeah. Oh, and then the scene after like the guy's like, I got you, and then like Ghidorah moves and the rocks start falling, and somehow the guy is looking up and he's like, no, the rock hits him, He catches the
He
rock.
hugged the boulder.
He hugs it and then falls backward. It's one of those scenes where you're like, that guy got what he deserved, but so bad. So bad. Yeah, but for the most part, I still really enjoyed this movie. Fights are awesome. The plot's different and unique, which I can get behind. And overall, it has 4 monsters in it, and they fight. What more can you want in a Godzilla movie?
There were certain parts in this movie I really disliked, like part where he's not flapping his wings when he's flying, just going down like jet. The first scene where Godzilla pops out of water, he's just like... And then there's this one scene where he gets pecked in the head by Rodan. He's like...
But I love that. They have like expressions in this movie where he gets pecked. He's like, what the hell, man?
And there's just like certain parts of this movie just like... and then the singing things again.
I'm sorry.
Me watch this. But overall, though, you know what? No, never mind. It's not good. I'll give it an okay.
It's okay. I really like this movie.
Of course you would.
But what do you guys think about this movie? Let us know in the comment section below what you guys thought about Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. Help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button. Subscribe to become a Ranger today, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.